At the beginning of the film, a family is on their way to a new home. Griffin is in the car with sisters Kendra and Madison and is playing a video game. Meanwhile, the father, Eric, is driving the car, and the mother, Amy, is very excited about moving into a new home. When they approach the house, they are greeted by a real estate agent. They enter and take a look around. Griffin discovers that his sister Madison is talking to the closet in a room as she walks through the house. When Griffin asks her about it, she says she is not talking to anyone and runs outside. Eric finds a baseball glove and throws it to Griffin to play after their possessions are delivered from the truck. While playing, the ball gets caught in a tree, and Griffin goes to get it. The little boy begins to worry while looking at the tree. Suddenly, a gust of wind and a sound startles him, and he rushes to warn his mother. Amy ignores Griffin's worries as she unpacks the goods and soon asks him to come in and see her room in the attic. Currently, the family is having financial problems, and they have to settle for this house. Griffin visits Madison's room in the evening, and she shows him a magic trick that involves knocking on the closet handle while her hair stands on end. They have a great time and don't worry about what's in the closet. Amy is doing laundry in the basement when her earring slips under the washing machine, and she reaches down to find it. Amy is startled when the washing machine starts up and she finds something strange on her fingers. Suddenly, a liquid starts dripping from under the washing machine, prompting her to get out. We then see Kendra watching a paranormal investigation program when her mother comes in and asks her to turn the volume down because it is time for the children to go to bed. Amy then approaches the younger children and tells them to go to bed. As she tucks Griffin in, he says he is afraid of the dark, to which she responds by telling him there is nothing to fear and leaving him a night light. Griffin has trouble sleeping, so he gets out of bed and opens the door to a storage room, where he discovers a red ball hanging by a thread. Several toys fall from above, terrifying him as he catches the ball. Griffin is startled when the red ball turns back into a clown's nose and rushes to his parents' room. At that time the parents were minding their own affairs, but the father agreed to go and calm Griffin down. When Eric goes to examine the storage room, a squirrel jumps on him. Griffin refuses to sleep in his room until they catch the squirrel, so he goes to sleep with his parents. After everyone has gone to bed, the lights in the house begin to flicker. Griffin is jolted awake by the sound of someone talking. He follows the sound into the living room and discovers Madison watching television. When he asks what she is doing, Madison says that they are coming, and numerous hands appear from inside the television set. Griffin panics and unplugs the television, but it remains on, and the light above it continues to rotate. After hearing the noise, the parents and Kendra enter the living room, and Madison exclaims that they are already there. The next day, Amy asks what happened last night, and Madison tells her that it was just her friends. Meanwhile, Griffin discovers a bone in their garden, and Amy tells him to put it where he found it. Later, Amy asks Griffin to take a box of comic books upstairs, but he is stopped by a ball rolling next to him. He guesses it is Madison and enters her room but finds it empty. He drops the ball, which rolls toward the closet. He turns, startled, and tries to leave, but finds the door blocked by books organized as a wall. When he looks over his shoulder, the ball is gone. Eric returns home with a squirrel trap. He summons everyone downstairs because he has purchased gifts. Griffin runs, trying to tell his father what just happened to him, but he is frustrated because no one will listen. Amy scolds him for acting like a child, and Griffin retreats to his room. Later, the parents leave for a dinner party, leaving Kendra to take care of the siblings. The couple spends their time at the dinner while their colleagues inform them that the house they live in is built on a cemetery. Meanwhile, a storm is brewing outside. As Kendra tucks her sister in and returns to texting with her friend, her phone begins to malfunction, prompting her to seek better reception. Griffin gets out of bed because he is terrified of the tree near his window. He tries to turn on the lights but to no avail. Terrified, he retreats to the blanket, convincing himself that there is nothing to be afraid of. Kendra enters the laundry room after hearing the door open. As she removes the damaged piece of floor, a black liquid begins to ooze out. She senses a presence and turns around to come face to face with a terrifying creature. Kendra gets up to run away as the lights flicker, but a hand grabs her leg. As she screams for help, the door closes on its own. Griffin discovers a night light in the attic and turns it on to see the toy clown. He is startled and drops it. As he picks up the bulb, he notices that the clown's nose hangs down toward his back. At first, the little boy thinks his father is playing a trick, but when he turns around, the toy clown pounces on him. Griffin manages to push him away and breaks the clown's head. He immediately rushes to Madison's room. He orders her to stay away from the closet and rushes downstairs to help Kendra but is stopped by an unseen force. Kendra manages to break free from its grip and runs to the locked door, shouting for help. Griffin is then grabbed by a tree and carried out of the house while begging for help. Madison notices that the closet door is open, but it is too dark, and she cannot see anything. The lights from the lampshade are drawn inside, along with her piglet. She gets up to retrieve her toy, but the lights quickly go out, leaving her in the dark. She looks back and sees her room in the distance. She tries to escape, but several arms grab her and drag her away from there. When the parents return home, they find Griffin terrified on the floor as he tries to explain what happened. Kendra arrives, panicking because she cannot find Madison. They enter, but they can't find Madison anywhere. Griffin enters the living room, and the television starts playing, with Madison's voice emanating from inside. Griffin calls his mother, and they are amazed to hear their daughter from inside the television. Amy starts to panic and wants to call the police, but Eric convinces her not to because they would only blame them. The next day they go to the paranormal research department, where Griffin begs Dr. Brooke to save his sister. Brooke agrees to work on the case and brings along her assistants named Sophie and Boyd. They enter Madison's room, and Boyd tries to sit on Madison's small chair, but it flies out from under his feet and crashes into the wall. Brooke warns them that they are dealing with a poltergeist invasion, more aggressive than a typical paranormal infestation because of the presence of several spirits. The team sets up equipment inside the residence. Boyd stops to talk to Griffin and tells him that they could make a lot of money if they would do a show on this poltergeist case. Griffin says he doesn't care about the money, he just wants to see his sister alive and well again. Boyd goes to the closet to install a heat sensor. As he starts drilling into the wall, the drill is dragged inside, producing a huge hole. He tries to get it back but is yanked against the wall as a hole is drilled closer to his face. With a red mark on his arm, he manages to pull away. When he looks back, the wall and arm are back to normal. Griffin rushes downstairs, where Brooke is informing the boys that their sister has gone to another dimension, and asks that someone go there and show Madison the way back. The doctor says they need to figure out how to do it first. Later, they attempt to converse with Madison through the television after eliminating all interruptions with the help of technology. The plan works, and Amy finally hears her daughter's voice. They try to bring her back to them, but poltergeists destroy the television set, and the lights go out. The father follows a shadow that looks like Madison as it flees to the closet. He tries to touch her, but when she turns back, her disfigured face startles him. She pushes Eric, causing him to fall onto the table. Eric flails and repeatedly hits the closet wall with the table leg and then throws the broken piece, causing the closet to light up. Griffin notices something glittering on the ceiling and approaches. Suddenly the table leg falls off, and Amy rescues him before the piece falls on him. Brooke realizes that they have created a gateway and decides to contact Kerrigan Burke, her ex-husband, and host of a paranormal program, for help. Upon arrival, they are informed that since there used to be a cemetery, the community has moved the headstones, but the souls are still buried in the neighborhood. Madison's purity is the key to making the spirits travel to the light, as she has the ability to connect with them. They quickly formulate a strategy to get Madison out. In order to bring her back, they sling a rope through the closet and ceiling, creating a bridge. Kerrigan pilots Griffin's drone camera through the portal, and they eventually locate Madison, but she is dragged away. This frightens them, and they argue over who should go in to save Madison. Despite his mother's pleas, Griffin rushes upstairs and enters the portal. They prepare to pull the rope together once Griffin finds Madison. Soon after, the young boy quickly spots a terrified Madison and convinces her to return. Eventually, they both emerge from the portal unconscious. They are submerged in water and resurrected. The family believes they have helped the souls reach the light and prepare to leave. Madison informs them that they dragged her away before the spirits reached the light. They get into the car, and before they can leave, the car is flipped over and pushed inside the house, dragging Madison to the closet. Amy rushes to grab Madison, and everyone else rushes to help her. The poltergeists also appear to drag Madison. Kerrigan orders the spirits to return, and the family manages to drag Madison back. Kerrigan decides that he must lead the spirits into the light. Despite his ex-wife's protests, he enters the house and willingly steps into the portal. The family manages to escape before the house collapses. Brooke hands them the keys to her car, and the family drives away. Griffin looks back and notices a beam of light bursting from the house, implying that the ghosts have moved on. Later, the team locates Kerrigan using his GPS, indicating that he is still alive. The movie ends with the family setting out to find a new house, and when they find one that looks like the old one, they immediately flee. After the credits, we learn that Dr. Brooke has joined the show with her ex-husband, Kerrigan. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.